How's it going, guys and girls? Welcome to another video. Today we are doing a review of the Rode VideoMicro compact on camera microphone after 1 year of use. Now, I've been meaning to do this review for quite a while because I've been using it for 1 year and I've got a lot to say, so let's get cracking. So to give you some context, I am a cyclist and I create all kinds of videos, and I use this as my setup and as my main microphone. Now, this is actually the second microphone that I have, the exact same one, because the first one broke. More on that later. So first, some of the details. It's classed as a compact microphone that is lightweight. It's only 80 millimeters, 3 inches long, and 42 grams, which is 1.5 ounces. It has an all metal microphone body. There is no battery required. It's powered by the camera plug-in power, which is minimum 3 volts. WS9 synthetic furry windshield with foam inner cell, which does a great job, I must admit. So first, let's talk about the sound, because the sound is really good. If you can use this microphone in your action shots, then your sound is going to be a cut above the rest. So let's take a look at some unedited clips of me recording whilst riding. So we are actually 6.8 miles into the route. All is going well. Legs are still feeling good, still pumping. So I'm here with Aaron. He is one of the ride captains. Now, one thing to note with the sound, and one of the reasons why it's so good, is because it is directional. So whichever way you point the microphone, that is where it's going to pick the most sound up from. So if I point the microphone like this, it's going to pick sound up from over there. When you're holding it and recording yourself, it actually picks your voice up really well, and this big old wind muff does a great job of hiding all the noise. Now, one thing to note with that is if the microphone is here, for example, maybe you're having a conversation with someone, then it is going to pick your voice up even though it's pointing that way, because you are in close proximity to the microphone. Next, let's talk about the size. Now, personally, I actually think it's a pretty big microphone. Now, if you think that's the size of the GoPro itself, and then you've got this big old microphone on the top, it's almost the same size. Now, when we compare it to an EMT-001, it's actually massive. Now, this is a small microphone which just sits in here and plugs straight in. In comparison, there is no real comparison. This is massive and a real consideration. This is tiny and super easy to use. I feel like something in the middle would be good so that it's not massive and kind of doubles the size of your whole setup. Next up, let's talk about the mount. Now, this is where it starts to go downhill, in my opinion. Now, this is why. If we look at the mount, if I just wobble that there, it's very flimsy. Now, if you're using this for sport or in any sort of action where it's going to be wobbling, then what you're going to have is the wind muff is simply going to come down, and you can see here it's going to come into view. The first few videos that I created, I had this here and maybe I was holding it, I went over a bump on my bike and this was flapping around everywhere. So the mount is one of the downsides. I've actually modified mine. Now, what I've done is I just added electrical tape around the shock mount, which actually gave it a lot of strength. However, not enough in my opinion. So what I actually done is I got some thin rope, and I just done that in like a figure of 8 motion around the base of the shock mount where it attaches, and that gave it much more strength. So looking at this is my reinforced one, my stronger one. So you can imagine what it was like before. Before, it literally, you touched it, it would just drop down. So bear that in mind when you are thinking about buying this microphone and what you are using it for. Now, the weak points. We've already spoken about the mount here, but actually another weak point is this part at the back, which is actually a screw. Now, I've solved this by putting some electrical tape round, but if you are doing anything where the microphone is going to be moving or rattling, what you're going to get is that is going to come loose. It's quite a large thread, it's not super secure. So this screw at the back is another weak point. If it's going to be moving and vibrating, then put some tape around it or find a way to secure it. Now, one other thing to note with that, if it is slightly loose, what it's going to do is rattle. So what I noticed in some of my footage is like a rattling noise, a slight rattling noise. So if you are hearing that in your footage, there is a chance that your screw here is loose. What you make sure you do is tighten that up before it actually comes fully off and breaks. Now, I'm going to give you my biggest tip when using this microphone, the Rode VideoMicro, with a GoPro. What you want to do is take the cable and you want to wrap it around the actual body of the GoPro. Now, on the first wrap, you want to make sure it's relatively tight. You want to make sure it's not putting a lot of strain on this or not changing the angle of the actual microphone itself. So like that. And what that's going to do is pull the microphone upwards. And if you wrap it round again, you're going to pull that tight, and then you can simply plug it back in. Now, as you can see there, that is now tight. Now, if I wobble that there, it doesn't actually wobble. Now, my worry with this is obviously it's pulling on the mount, or maybe it's going to break at the joint here, or the connection. But actually, I've been doing this for about 6 months now. I've recorded about 20 videos and it's been perfect. And most importantly, when you shake that, the microphone isn't going to come into view. So that is a solution, that is a fix for that. So what situations would I say that this microphone is good for? To be honest, I think it's super versatile, and I think if you can use it, then do use it. It may be hard in some scenarios because of the type of sport, the action sport you're doing, because it's quite large. But if you can, then use it. Your sound's going to be much, much better. One other thing to think about is what you're trying to record, because if there's like, say, 8 people in a room and you want to record what's going on, then this is going to be directional. Now, maybe you want something like this, which is omnidirectional, or a different mic that's going to capture sound from all directions. Whereas if you're just having one-to-one conversations, or just a couple of you, maybe 3 people, then this is good. But yeah, bear in mind, if you put it in a room, you're not going to hear sound evenly throughout. You're going to hear sound where it's pointing. In my personal experience, what do I think? I think it is really, really good. Now, the first one broke, and when I got home from my ride, I literally ordered another one straight away. So that tells you how much I actually value having this. I think it's good to have 2, don't get me wrong. But if I could use this all the time, I would. However, when I'm riding faster, I use a little one just because of the size. So the price, how much does this thing cost? Well, on Amazon, it drifts around the £50 mark. Sometimes it's slightly below, sometimes it's slightly above. What I will do is I will leave a link in the description below. The very first link in the description is a link to this on Amazon, where you can give it a purchase. So there you have it, guys and girls. That is a 1-year review using and abusing the Rode VideoMicro compact on-camera microphone, and it's been great. I would definitely advise it if you're thinking about buying it. Now, if you like this review, do smash the like button. If you're thinking about buying this microphone, then go for it. Hopefully this review's kind of giving you that final little push you need. So thanks for watching. Until next time, beautiful people, self-love, safe riding.